What up, socialites? Welcome back to the Social Studies Podcast with me, Joe Dombrowski.
And me, Gaspare Randazzo.
Coming up, I'm off for quite some time, but check my website because we're doing My Straight Friends, the show where we take straight comedians and interview them about gay shit.
Oh, I can't wait to be on that.
I can't wait to have you on it. That's basically the premise of this podcast.
Richie just listened to the podcast and was like, we're making this a show.
We're doing a bunch in Seattle. We got a few in Portland, Oregon, and we will be in August, starting in August every month at the Comedy Store on Sunset in LA. My fall tour is this, and tickets are already available at thejoedombrowski.com. Get your tickets. Irvine, San Jose, Sacramento, Charleston, Charlotte, Boston, New York, Winnipeg, Atlantic City, Newark, Portland, Maine, Toronto, Chicago, Atlanta, thejoedombrowski.com.
You know, Joe, a lot of people are like messaging me and they're like, hey, I heard Joe's going to be in Atlantic City and Newark. And they're like, that's so close to you. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. All right. So here's my tour.
I see what you did there.
Here's my tour dates. Point Pleasant, Albion, Point Pleasant, Jersey, LA, San Francisco, Long Island, New York City, Boston. Manasquan is at the end. Washington, D.C., Tampa, Cleveland, Detroit, Manchester, Tennessee, Atlanta, Staten Island, Freehold, Austin, Dallas, Columbus, Cincinnati, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Grantville, Pennsylvania, Rochester, New York, and Manasquan.
How are your Detroit numbers looking?
I'll tell you in a second. Get your tickets at GaspareRandazzo.com. Also, shout out to a podcast listener, Joey, who told me at my show in Philly, someone said, wow, when are you going to be performing next? And she said, well, you clearly don't listen to the podcast because they start every podcast by just listing like 100 cities. So Shout out to you, Joey. Thanks for listening, unless you're fast forwarding through this part.
Joey, a boy?
Joey, like Joey. Oh, no, Joei, but it's Joey. It's Joey. Girl. She's a girl. She said Joey, but it's Joei. Joey. I'm assuming it's French.
He's very good.
So, Joe, this is our last episode of recording before you get married.
It is my last episode.
This is your last episode as Mr. Dombrowski.
I got to tell you this, too. So I did a crowd work taping last weekend in Tacoma. It was amazing. There will be long-form videos coming out on YouTube. P.S., so everyone knows, I'm going to be doing these more often. I'm really trying to build the YouTube presence. I think it'd be great for you to see more of my stand-up in long form. So go follow me on YouTube, Joe Dombrowski. And a little peek behind the curtain, I'm going to be doing another one of these in Rochester, New York in January. Keep your eyes open. Gaspare. So the beginning of this one, I themed it. It was all crowd work, so I themed it around weddings and getting married. So I asked the audience for like advice or help or words of wisdom going into getting married, right? Funniest thing happened. One woman was like, make sure you make time for you and your partner to be by yourselves for at least 5 minutes. And her friend goes, she's divorced. And then she goes, you're divorced too. It was so funny. But
also 5 minutes? What the hell?
I don't know. That's quickie. I was doing this crowd work show, and I was thinking about, all the things that people said, and what came up over and over again, or people were like, expect the unexpected. Some crazy shit is going to happen. Just roll with the punches, okay? Didn't expect for the crazy shit to literally happen Sunday. Shows were done. Sunday happens. My parents roll up in the driveway. I see them rolling up.
You knew they were coming?
I knew they were coming. They ding-donged it. I opened the door. Shock of my life. Fran Dombrowski shows up, 30 pounds down, because she didn't tell me she started her Ozempic journey from last time that I saw her. I'm like, who is this? Who is this woman?
Does she look a lot different?
I was like, she still looks like my mom, but I don't think I've seen her looking like this in quite some time. She's like, and she is moving around like a little whippersnapper. It's pretty great.
Does she feel good?
She's feeling great. She's moving better than I've ever seen her.
So she likes the Ozempic. I'm surprised she would do Ozempic.
The Zempy Wempy, yeah.
Because there's all those like unknowns, and I feel like she's like healthy.
It's like an off-brand Ozempic. No, I shouldn't say off-brand. She keeps going, it's not Ozempic, it's this. And I'm like, same shit. Yeah, it's same shit.
They got rid of the O. It's better for you.
I was like, what is happening? And then I gave her a hug. I'm like, am I going to like break your brittle bones? Like, do you have osteoporosis too now or something? Like, what's going on? But I was shocked. Oh, you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, you get to see Gaspare in her tank top. Ayo.
Oh, yeah, well, I just used Manscaped to just shave my chest. I did use Manscaped to shave my chest. Because what happens if I don't shave my chest, the tattoo on my chest it's all distorted. So I have to shave it. I remember one time my dad got a portrait of my sister when she was a baby. He got it tattooed on his chest because my brother-in-law is a tattoo artist. He was just starting to do portraits. So my dad's like, yeah, you could practice on me. Do your wife on my chest. So he tattoos my sister as a baby, but then my dad never shaved his chest ever again. So it was just like this, like.
So she looked like that guy from the Goonies?
No, she just looked like an ape. Like it was just like a hairy little child. It was bizarre. So
that's hilarious.
All right. So I have a bunch of things to talk to you about. So I feel like we haven't talked in a while.
We haven't. You guys, Gaspar's been holding down the fort. If you're listening to the podcast, it's all because of Gaspare. That's the only reason we're still on.
So I had a show in Philly on Wednesday night, right? And remember how I talked about on the podcast? So I'll give it you podcast. The podcast people are awesome because anytime I would make a joke about the elementary school stuff, podcast people would comment and be like, you clearly don't listen to the podcast. Like, this isn't real. He's messing with us and whatever. So I go
online or in person at the show?
No, online. People would comment that on all the videos.
Hilarious.
So, and I love that, right? So I'm at the show in Philly, right? So Joe, I go, as soon as I walked out, like within 3 minutes, someone's like, are you really going to elementary school? So I was like, damn, I wasn't going to talk about this, and then I was like, all right, honestly, listen, Philadelphia, like, I'm going to be real with you guys. Like, no one knows this. I'm not going anywhere, right? I go, what happened was I lied as a joke. And then like, I just kept lying and lying and lying. I go, and then these people were sending me these sweet, nerdy messages that were like 40 pages long with like full curriculums. And they were like, I can help you, and giving me advice. And I was like, and I felt bad lying to these losers, but I kept doing it.
You fuck.
Wait. So I said that, and this lady in the front row goes, I was one of the people who emailed you. I go, well, I'm a piece of shit, and I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was
my
like,
Lord.
So after the show, she was cracking up. She goes, when I sent the email, my friends were like, are you stupid? He's definitely not moving. And she goes, I think he is. She's like, I'm sitting there typing away to give him advice, and all my friends were making fun of me. She's like, and then it's true. You really didn't move. And I'm like, I'm sorry. But then after the show, I'm driving home, right? And it's midnight, and I got hit by a car.
Karma's a bitch.
I was in the
You
left
lied to
lane.
these people. You get hit by a car.
First off, Joe, it's 11:45, and I'm sitting in the back getting paid from the club, and I'm literally looking at a clock, and I go, it's 11:45, so it's almost midnight. I didn't even leave the club yet. I have to be up for work in 5.5 hours. I still have a 2-hour drive ahead of me. I was like, this is torture. So I'm driving home.
Quit.
I get into a car accident. I hit another car, whatever. We both get out. Joe, it's Philly. I don't know if you know much about Philly. It's not the safest neighborhood in America.
You've been told.
Yeah. So we get into an accident. He cut in front of me and I hit his car. So we get out of the car right away. And I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, all right, listen, he gets out of the car. He's like 22-year-old kid, college looking like preppy kid. He's like, I was like, here's the deal. We're going to just take pictures of this and deal with this later. All of a sudden, about 20 guys on quads. You know what a quad is? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
20 guys on quads all pull up, and they're like, everything all right? You guys need help? Everything good? I'm like, yeah, we called the cops already. The cops are on their way. I'm like, my mom's on her way too. Like, I didn't know what to say. And then, of course, they were like, all right. So they leave. Now cars are pulling up next to us. You guys are, everyone's like, but it wasn't like, you are right. Like, I'm going to help you. It was like, I felt like we were about to get killed. I was like, Joe, we got to get the fuck out
robbed.
of here. To the guy. So I said to the guy, I was like, we should get out of here. He's like, yeah. I really want to go too. So we got in our cars. We called each other on the ride, whatever. Nice guy. He fixed it. He paid for it all out of pocket. But
say his first, last name, and social security number right now.
I don't have my car, which sucks, but it's okay.
Wild. That's like, well, I'm glad you're good.
Yeah, it was perfect. I never been in a car accident, knock on wood. That was my first ever. You ever been in a car accident?
Yes. Yeah. Morgan and I got in a car accident early dating.
What happened? Was it your fault?
Well, the week we were dating, he got in a car accident and totaled his Mustang. And then probably a year or so into dating, maybe a little more than that, we got a car accident in my car. And it was kind of all where both times were people pulling in front of us. Kind of crazy. New
York, I know, is like control the front of your car state. Like you're responsible for the front of your car.
So if someone hits you, it's their fault?
Yes. Like
from the back.
Even if I'm going on the highway and I slam on my brakes at 100 miles an hour, if someone hits me from behind, it's their fault because they hit me. Like you're responsible for the front of your car.
That's weird.
Yeah, I believe that's a New York rule.
Yeah, in Michigan was a no-fault state. I don't know if it still is, but it
yeah,
was
I don't.
Like
what does that mean? Because that's
fault.
what the guy said. Because he was from Jersey, I was from New York.
Your own damage.
Oh,
I think you just pay your own damage. I don't really know. And also, I don't give a fuck. Like, shit happens. Figure it out.
Well, you know what's funny? First, I got out of the car and I was like annoyed.
How was the car?
Broken headlight, broken fog light, dented, bumper broke. First, I got out of the car and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what were you thinking? But then, like, he was like shaking, nervous. So I said, listen, it's really okay. Nobody got hurt. It could have been way worse. Accidents happen. I was like, it's fine. And he was like,
yeah,
oh.
You got to handle shit calmly for sure.
Well, like, I was more just like initial shocked and then like, oh shit, like we're not in the best place. So I was like, I really don't want to be stuck here, So like, and I think he was like looking around too. And he was like, oh, we should get the hell out of here. Like,
that was crazy.
There was like crackheads all around us.
Oh,
like
Jesus
on the curb,
Christ. I'm scared just listening to you. What else you got for me, little baby?
Well, first off, right before I left, I was like, okay, so I had a show last night. It was a private party for an end of the school year. And
where? At a bar?
I'm going to explain the place. But right before I explain it, I was like starving before I went and I really didn't have time to eat. So I was like, oh, thank God I have these Factor meals in my house. And it's like, I was like, they have no mess, no prep. It literally took 2 minutes. I just threw it right in the microwave, popped it on, boop, 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 and I was all set. There was dozens of meals that I was able to choose from, and I didn't even get bored because they got meals for vegans, vegetarians, people counting calories. Literally everybody, there's a meal for them at Factor. And lately, like I've been looking at myself in the pool and I'm like, oh, I'm getting a little bigger. So I'm trying to eat a little more health conscious. So these Factor meals are kind of great. Just because, especially because of like portion control, because that's my biggest problem is I make like 10 pounds of meat and then I'm like, oh, I'll bring it to lunch. And then I eat it all that night. So Factor kind of just proportionalizes it for you. So this isn't just like your run of the mill quick meal. Factor is restaurant quality with premium ingredients like filet mignon or shrimp or blackened salmon.
Yeah, filet mignon.
Yeah, filet mignon.
Holy hell.
I can't wait to eat filet mignon this weekend at your wedding.
It's
if that was an option.
Yeah. I don't even remember what you ordered, but
I ordered ribeye because I don't eat fish. So
gotcha.
If you don't have a wedding to go to this weekend and you're just hungry for something quick, head to factormeals.com/socialstudies50 and use code socialstudies50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code socialstudies50 at factormeals.com/socialstudies50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. So anyway,
and I see Factor trucks all the time. I don't know if it's now I'm looking out for them, but I see Factor trucks all the time. And every time I see them, I pull over and I bow. and I say thank you. Thank you for sponsoring.
Thank you, Sir Factor.
Thank you, Madame Factel.
You know what's funny? I've been seeing Factor a lot more lately too. Like this guy at work was eating it, and I was like, "Do you listen to the podcast?" And he's like, "No, no one does."
Should, next time you subscribe, use our code.
Maybe I don't know. That's what I said to him. I go, if you did, you would have got 50% off plus 20% off your first month. Sometimes I think like maybe we should change the name of the podcast, because you know what the response was when I asked him why? He goes, "Dude, I'm a social studies teacher. I don't want to hear more about social studies." And I was like, "It's not a social studies podcast." He's like, "It's literally called social studies." I'm like, "Yeah, we study being social." He's like, "But you're a social studies teacher. Why would I have known that?" And I was like,
what would we change it to?
Just Joe and Gas.
I think we would change it to
What the hell is happening? What did I just listen to?
Let's ask the fans. If you're watching us on YouTube, write in the comments if you got a suggest for a new name, and if you even think we should change the name.
It's hard because now we got all
do
these
a rebranding.
Sweatshirts.
We'll do it. That'll be OG.
Yeah, we'll hand mark our OG on it. All right, so, but yeah, I was like, "It's not a social studies." He's like, "Oh, I would have never known. It's literally called social studies." I was like, "Well played." All right.
Damn.
So
Anyway.
okay. So the lady's like, "Okay, I want you to come."
There's more to this?
I didn't even tell you the story.
Fuck, you didn't even tell me the story. Yeah.
So she's like, "I want you to come as a surprise to the staff." Okay,
you're not gonna know who you are.
Cute idea, right? On Staten Island, right? Okay. So
they do know who you are.
So she's like, an hour performance. I go, "Listen,
oh Jesus
I've been to enough staff parties. Nobody wants to hear anybody talk for an hour. That's reality, right or wrong?"
Ain't nobody.
I said, "These people want to drink, they want to dance, they want to party. They don't want to hear me
and not let anyone know about it."
Yes. I go, "They don't want to hear from me." Okay, cool. So we get there. She goes, "How about 20 minutes? Awesome." I get there. I'm like, she tells me to be there at 7. So I'm there while people are starting to walk in. Everybody's really nice. Take a few pictures. It's pretty cool, right?
Were they like, "Oh my God"?
Yeah, like people were confused, like more confused. They were like, some people thought I worked there. They were like, "Oh, that's cute. Like you're a teacher and this is like your side job. Like you do like valet at this fancy place." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm the entertainment."
Shut up. They thought that?
Well, like, because they didn't know. You know what I mean? Like a lot of teachers work second jobs. So they just assume,
I know. Oh,
Okay,
you're a
I
bus
guess,
boy.
Yeah, like he's a waiter at.
Tip the little man. Give him a couple of dollars.
Pretty much.
You got a tip job, mister?
So Joe, okay, let's say there's 150 people here. 75 of them were retirees that came for a reunion. And then like the other 75 were the actual staff. The place was a cathedral. It was gigantic. High ceilings. And
you were in a house of the Lord?
No. It was just like cathedral style build. It was just a big room. Right. I was about 30 yards to the first person, and people were on both sides of me. The retirees were on one side and the staff was on the other, but I was 30 yards away. So 100 feet, let's say. Okay. This guy gets on the mic. Everyone's just drinking, hanging out, eating, whatever. And he goes, "Hey, this is my co-teacher's favorite person on the internet." And then hands me the mic. And I was like, oh, okay. Joe, I got up. The 75 retirees didn't even look in my direction. They just full on talked as if like I wasn't there. It was like, imagine like I just took a mic and I started speaking on the subway, but nobody wanted me there.
Oh,
and like,
beautiful.
A few people like turned and were like, "What's he saying?" You couldn't even hear me. They were talking so loud. And I didn't want to be like, "Hey, shut the fuck up." Because it's like, because it wasn't.
Keep going.
It wasn't that kind of setting. Like, you know what I mean? Right. I was like, these people didn't pay for a comedy show. They were like, "We haven't seen each other. We want to talk." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was trying to entertain both sides. Then at one point I go, "Nobody here is even listening to me. So I'm going to focus on this side of the room." Then I was only talking to one side of the room.
Did they even laugh at that?
They did. No, the people who were listening kind of laughed, but most jokes went right over their heads because you couldn't hear. And like, even if you could hear, it was like on DJ speakers that were just blaring outward. So there was no real sound. There was no setup. I was standing in the middle of a dance floor, like a theater. Joe, I was on for 20 minutes. I felt like I was on for 2 straight days.
Of course.
I wanted to, when it was over, the DJ looked at me and he goes, bro, that hurt to watch. He goes, he goes, your shit was really funny. He goes, I don't think anyone heard anything you said. I go, yeah, that's how I felt too. Thank you for reaffirming that. And he's like, no, you have really funny stuff. I'm like, no, I'm cool with it. Like, but the lady who hired me said that the people who were listening, I just ate like a loaf of Italian bread.
Shocked. Gaspar coughs like a kindergartner. He'll just be like mid-sentence and all of a sudden be like, okay. And then I'm friends with my garbage man and he gave me a couple. Like, God damn.
I only cough when I was I have so much Italian bread backed up in my throat.
Get back to the fucking story.
So at the end, the lady's like, no.
You got a big loaf of Italian bread back down in my throat. Just scarping down that gabagool over there.
Do you have Italian bread in Seattle?
I think the podcast is called Unhinged. Yo, do I have Italian bread in Seattle? No. And I'm fucking pissed.
Oh, they don't?
Literally.
Oh, there are no Italians?
Where we grew up in Michigan, it's Italians galore. A lot of fake Italians too, by the way. A lot of people who like grow up in like lily white suburbia and then they name their kids like Massimo, Angelica, Vicente. And it's like, your last name's Smith. Like, chill. You know what I mean? It's very that.
Massimo Smith.
Massimo Smith. But lots of real Italians too, and a big Italian population. Lots of Italian markets, like grocery stores. Yeah, lots of Italian, like all Italian churches. Italian. Yeah, lots of Italian bakeries, grocery stores, dessert places, restaurants. Okay, so Italian bread, easy to come by. Moved to Seattle, still can't. I've been here for 6 years, still can't find.
What do they sell, like ciabatta?
No, one time we bought an Italian bread and we brought it home. We're like, the fuck is this? We were both like, this is not Italian bread. It's like a French loaf. It's garbage. We finally found a good cannoli. Morgan's mom found us a place with good cannolis. It took forever.
But 5 years later. You know what's crazy? When we say Italian bread, we're talking about the same thing. I'm talking about the long loaf. It's hard. The shell is hard.
Yes.
Seeds, like sometimes.
Yeah, it's Italian bread.
Okay.
Right. Gaspar, a muffaletta here is trash. Like a muffaletta? You've never had a muffaletta.
What is it?
A muffaletta. Shut up, Gaspar. You're just not serious.
I swear to God, muffaletta?
Yeah, it's like an Italian sandwich. It's like got thin bread with the seeds on it, and then it's got like ham and olive oil.
New Orleans. Oh, it's an Italian sandwich.
Yeah, it's like amazing. Anyway,
I've never seen this a day in my life.
They make it with like ciabatta, which is wrong. Anyway, yo. 1 year, Morgan and I go to this little cafe.
Yeah, these look like delicious.
Breakfast. It's like a breakfast diner, right? We go to this breakfast diner and there's a line at the door, and it's around Christmas time. And I'm like, where the fuck did all these Italians come from? And then I look, they're lined up outside of a fishmonger that I never heard about because they were prepping for the 7 fishes. I was like,
oh, yeah.
Here they are. I wanted to go in line and be like, does anyone know a good Italian bakery? It was insane.
I'm sure they would have. There's got to be some. Seattle's got Italian people.
Literally, both of us didn't take our meds. We actually don't take meds, by the way, anybody. Tell me about the fucking story. So then you got off. Did they pay you? Like what?
Oh,
like, did you just leave?
Dude, she was very happy with it because she said her and the teachers, like, this is how I looked at it. I wanted to jump off a bridge last night, but then I woke up in the morning and I was like, the people who wanted to see it paid attention and were laughing. The people who could care less weren't going to be like, oh, now I'm going to go see him. You know what I mean? Like, the retirees were very old. They could care less. Like, you know what I mean? So at the end, she just walked over. She was the nicest lady. And she was like, no, I really liked it. She's like, she even said, she's like, next year we need to like have everybody seated. Let them know a comedian's coming on. Like
I
she
did
said,
actually.
like,
I sent you
so,
this book and you didn't read it because you don't
yeah,
read. And in this book that I sent you, the comedy Bible, the new comedy Bible,
I
updated
couldn't
version.
order it because of Amazon.
No, you couldn't read it because you don't.
Do they have it at a local library?
Probably, actually.
All right,
Anyway,
well, I will
part of this
find the
book
library.
vividly stands out. It says when you get hired for a job, you are in charge. So it's like go there early. If the seating's not right, tell them it needs to be changed. Get the stage right. Get it right to set you up for success. So she's right. Next time you guys got to like plan together and be like, yo.
Well, she said, she goes, what I should have done in hindsight is not make it a surprise. Say, hey, everybody, we have a comedian coming. This is the comedian. Hey, everybody, this is happening. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because literally, Joe, everyone was just like online getting their drinks. And then they were like,
Yeah.
Here's this guy. Like, and I was like,
have you ever heard of Montauk?
Yeah, of course.
New York? Like, have you ever like the what is it? It's like a fucking bougie resort.
Montauk's like super. It's like a Hamptons.
Yeah. So I got hired to do a gig at Montauk like last year or maybe 2 years ago at this point. And
it's Long Island, which is nice.
It?
I think so. Montauk, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, it's in pristine New York, like forest. And like you're in the New York mountains pretty much, which I don't know. It felt like I was in Dirty Dancing. Like there was like boating and fishing and horseback ride. You could do like any sort of activity. But I got hired for this like teacher conference that was happening for administrators of private schools all over the state of New York, right? Okay. So I go to this Montauk thing and I'm like prepared to be like very like, you know what I mean? Very like stuffed shirt, you know?
Yeah, like I didn't curse last night. Nothing.
Yeah, well, the woman who booked me was like very foul mouthed, like she was like not holding back. And then I was like, yo, like, what are my parameters here? She's like, no parameters, like roast these bitches, like fucking go in on them, like say whatever you want. So I did my whole like sex ed bit about clitoris and all this shit. Gaspare, these people were like, oh my God.
They were laughing or no?
Some were laughing. Most were laughing like, I don't know if I should laugh because my boss is sitting across the table. and then when it was done, you know how when you do a good job, everybody wants to talk to you? I ended it and I was like, I fucking killed. And they were like, okay, guys, that's the end of the night. Have fun at the bar, blah, blah, blah. Not a fucking person.
That was last night.
Nobody. I'm like standing there, I like went to the bar, was waiting for a drink. I thought like people in line would be like, oh, hey, great set, blah, blah, blah. They're just like, look at me and then get right back. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm actually just going to grab a salad and go back up to my room. The staff loved it. The fucking servers were coming up to me. They're like, yo, dude, you're fucking hilarious. And I was like, yeah, I kind of know. Like, what's happening here?
How long did you do?
Not an hour, like 30 minutes, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
And the hotel was like a haunted mansion. And then the next morning I woke up, there was a porcupine on the porch. I was just like, where the hell am I? And also porcupine, where were you yesterday before my set where I could have worked this shit in here? Like, this is unbelievable.
That's so funny that you said that because after the show, because I was telling Melissa and I'm like, yeah. And then like after I was like, all right, I'll just hang out a little. And nobody came near me. And I was like, I'm the fucking plague. I was like, and then they started like retirement speeches. And I was like, bye. And I just like faded into oblivion. Cause I was like, I'm not sticking around. Like, cause usually
I got another one for you.
Like you said, like when you're a good show also, but like Melissa was like, they're not there for you. They're there for their friends and to hang out. When they come to a comedy show, they come meet you. They come meet you because they're there for your show, you know?
Right. I got hired at this makeshift comedy show, probably like 5 or 6 years ago. Okay. And they like hired a bunch of comedians and it was like somebody who was just like putting together a comedy night that revolved around like kids and families and like stuff. So like some of the comedians were like talking about being a dad. Some were talking about like being a nurse, like and I was like a teacher one, right?
Okay.
Well, they're like, hey, we're going to pay you this much. We're going to have everything included. You're going to close and you're going to do like 30 to 45 minutes. And I'm like, straight. Sounds good to me. I get there. It's in a convention center in probably the biggest expo hall you've ever. I'm talking, you could have fit a fucking airplane in this thing. Like it was enormous.
That's how I felt about last night. I was like, oh, we're in too big of a space.
Yeah, it was miserable. They didn't have a mic to hold, so I had a Britney Spears mic on, which is like the most embarrassing thing to me as a comedian. I'm like, never, not me. So I go to do my set, Gaspare, and right before my fucking set, the host, there was like a host of the night who was not a comedian, goes up there and he goes, all right. And the reason we're here tonight is to bring awareness for breast cancer. As you know, this many people die of breast cancer a year, and this many teachers die of breast cancer a year. So here's a video of all these dead teachers who died in the last year of breast cancer. Plays this fucking Sarah McLachlan Arms of an Angel montage of dead people. People are sobbing in the thing. Then they ask you to give donations. People are like generously giving donations. Then someone gets up and talks about their dead loved one who was a teacher. And out of nowhere, boop. And now we have Joe Dombrowski, the comedian. Cold. I go up there cold and I'm like,
what did you even say?
Titties, am I right? I had no idea what to do. It was silent, Gaspare. It was one of the most uncomfortable sets I've ever done. I was like, who the fuck thought this was a good idea?
Did they say anything about it? Like, did they?
Nope. Didn't say shit about it.
Did you do your set? Well, obviously.
So then I did do my set, and then it just got like weird. As soon as it was done, I was like, I'm out. Like, I gotta go. And like, Morgan was actually at this one, and we dipped. And then the next day, the guy who was hosting goes, hey, my camera got stolen. Like they took pictures or whatever the whole night. They go, hey, my camera got stolen. So I was hoping you could post on your page this GoFundMe. I'm like, absolutely fucking not. Like, dude, my numbers, do you understand? There was like 1,000 people here tonight, and my following at the time was probably like 500,000. I'm like, I'm not going to globally put your GoFundMe out there for your lost camera. Also, you're a photographer. You got paid. This was an emergency. I hope you insured your shit. Make a claim and get your camera back. And then I was like, hey, I'm not going to do that. I hope you understand whatever. He goes, I don't. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Are you like, no, I'm not doing your fucking GoFundMe for your goddamn camera. Coming to me acting like your goddamn house burned down. You lost your cat and your whole family. What are you talking about?
It's weird.
Do you agree with me on that? Or am I being a curmudgeon old piece of shit?
It's the whole thing with GoFundMe's is just weird because like when we looked at those scandals and scams of like you just never know. Like I don't want to get but I know somebody who was recently scammed by some lady claiming like her house burned down and had all the pictures and all this stuff, and it all turned out to be fake. And it was like everybody just was donating, and like she had reached out to me, but someone reached out to me and was like, hey, it's fake. That girl, this did not it was someone we went to school with. Was like basically telling people that she her house burned down and she lost everything and blah blah blah. But another girl I went to college with was like, no, like it's not true. Don't, if she reaches out to you, I was like, that's crazy. She literally just hit me up and she's like, yeah, because she wants you to post on your Instagram. And I was like, yeah.
And that's the thing that people don't understand.
And I donated to it because I felt bad.
Sure.
I said, if I can definitely donate it, but I don't know about sharing it, because if I share one, then it becomes you would get hit. Well, it's like the Amazon wish list.
Oh, I do.
Like, I feel bad, but I'm sure you do too. Over the summer, hundreds and hundreds of, hey, please share my Amazon wish list. And I'm like, if I share one, I have to share everybody's. That's not fair. And I also am a teacher. Like, I have a freaking wish list, and I don't ask anybody for it.
We're protecting ourselves too, by the way. Like, people forget, like, what you see online. Yeah, it's fun for you to consume and all that too. But like, that's an extension of our individual businesses. Like, that is where we grow a fan base to say, hey, this is what I do. Now come to my show. So if I put a GoFundMe or something out there and it turns out that it's fake and it's a scam, my ass is on the line for putting it out there and supporting it. So like, I'm sorry, no.
Anyway, Joe, listen.
Yeah, thank God. Move on.
You're getting married in 4 days. I wanted to tell you, I'm going to throw some people under the bus here. It was super nice. Some people on Patreon actually reached out to me. They wanted to throw you a surprise bridal shower some way, somehow on Patreon.
And Patreon.com/The Social Studies Podcast.
And it was super nice. And they were like, can we buy a gift? And I was like, that's very sweet. And I just spoke for both of us. And I was like, no.
Thank you.
So sweet. But it was very sweet. They want to, I was like, honestly, I was like, I don't know how I would even organize this. I was like, because Joe and I both run the Patreon together. So if you email or message or create, Joe's going to be like, what the hell is this? So I was like, so we can't. But it was really sweet. They wanted to do something. So thank you guys.
That's very sweet. I don't want to. Patreon members.
I'll give initials. Someone named AM are their initials. AM and then F. There's an F in there.
Okay.
So, so she like wanted to organize it. Very sweet. So anyway, since we can't have a full bridal shower for you, I wanted to ask you some of the questions that they ask at these bridal shower games. These are couples games. So there's like 30 pages of questions. Some of them are simple. Like, who would you say is the funniest out of you and Morgan?
Common misconception is people think that like I'm the funny one. And it's not. Morgan's actually very funny and makes me laugh very much. He's got a very twisted sense of humor, and he likes to like exaggerate on some bullshit until the person fully believes it, and then until they catch on that he's lying. So it'll get like more and more outlandish until they'll be like, you're bullshitting him, and he'll just like laugh, and it gets me every time. He's very cute and very funny.
All right. Who is a better dancer?
Morgan, for sure. I'm not bad, but he's like got rhythm.
Like he can dance?
Big time. Wait till you see him dance at the wedding. You're going to be like, oh, he's got swag.
Are you guys going to dance at the wedding?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Is there like a first dance?
Nah.
You don't have like a first dance song picked out?
No.
That's why are you making it like that's not a thing? That's a big thing.
I don't know.
Okay. Who is the better cook?
Again, both, not either one of us. We're both great cooks. There's a difference though. Morgan is very good at cooking a good handful of dishes that he's either created or learned and perfected. Like, he has an amazing recipe for these Hungarian cookies that his grandmother made and passed down to him, which he makes. They're amazing. He, what else does he make? Meatballs. He's got an outstanding meatball recipe that he makes. Got a great hamburger recipe that he makes. And he's very good. And when we crave these things, Hungarian meatballs too. It's like when he makes these things, it's like, hey, go for it. He'll kill it. I am an adventurous chef, and I will find something that I've never eaten before and want to learn how to make it. And I'll go out and buy all these crazy ingredients, and I'll just like, I love experimenting on the grill, all that shit.
Okay. Who said I love you first?
I hate this mushy shit. Can we skip this one?
Okay. What is your partner's biggest fear? Or what are they scared of? How about that?
Waterboarding.
Like getting waterboarded?
I don't know.
No, because that's real. My fear is when your fingers are wet. You ever have like when your finger, oh my God, it's making me nauseous. When your fingers are soggy, like if you've been in the pool too long and then you rub them together while they're wet and they're soggy and it makes like that noise. You know that noise? It's like, you know what I'm talking about? That skeeves me out. So I get that. All right. Well, don't worry. We're going to continue the, there's a whole section on dirty questions. We're going to continue those over on the Patreon. So
before we end, I got one.
So head over to patreon.com.
Yep. Patreon.com/the Social Studies Podcast if you want to hear the rest of the bridal shower questions. Here's an email that we got before we end. Our drunk, one-eyed taxi driver. Hi, Joe and Gasp. They spelt it Gasp. Grabbing my pearls. I know that you guys want to hear stories that are always not related to teaching shit. But teachers are amazing, by the way. But here we go. I had just turned 21 and started drinking. A group of my friends wanted to take me out to celebrate. We lived near Nashville, so we decided to get a hotel and do the damn thing. We stayed in a trash hotel, but it was near downtown, so that balanced everything out. We were ready to go, called a taxi company by using the yellow pages that were in the room. Insane to think about, I know. This was in 2008. A guy pulls up, and the first thing we noticed was the open beer cans in the car. You dirty sluts thought that I would say a missing eye. I did think he was going to say the missing eye. Anyway, the driver took us out. Let's just say that his name was Jim. Jim drove us to Broadway with all of our crazy fun, honk-tonk bars, and bright neon lights. We had the best time, and I'm pretty sure that I had blurred vision after all this. Jim told us that he would be able to pick us up once we were done clubbing. Fast forward, and we're ready to get picked up. Pulling out his business card, we called Jim. Jim answers and shows up 15 minutes later with chocolate Valentine's roses for all of us. He pulls up to the spot that we were waiting and ran up to the curve, nearly missing our feet. Once we got out of the car, we realized that even more beer cans had been opened in the car. On the drive back to our hotel, he kept yelling at women outside the windows, examples being, "Shake that fat ass for me, girl." He finally got us to the hotel safely, where we just continued drinking. Honestly, we were so hammered, we probably should have just went to bed. The next morning, one of my friends walks outside to get a cup of coffee and saw that our taxi car that looked like it had probably been Jim's. She then proceeds to walk up to the car to see that it is, in fact, Jim's car. No one was in the van. About that time, my friend Melissa heard a scream from the hotel room that we were staying in. Rushing back to the room, she saw Jim walking out of the hotel room with everyone behind him. Jim then states, "I was too drunk to drive home last night. We were all shocked that he managed to somehow get into our bathroom and sleep there all night. Unbeknownst to any of us, we all said, fuck it, just take us to breakfast." Breakfast was full of laughs, reminiscing about our crazy ass night. Nashville was a riot and one for the books. Anyway, I absolutely love you guys, and I listen to this podcast on the way to work. You two both absolutely crack me up. You make my workday enjoyable and full of laughter. You guys should come do stand-up sometime in Ilani Casino in Ridgefield, Washington. We are soon to get our first In-N-Out burger here in Washington. Welcome. Love, Frankie B. Just kidding. You can say my actual name, Chris. P.S. I became a Patreon member just to see the Frankie B picture. Hilarious, Chris. There? We showed it from our phones. Chris, thank you so much for becoming a Patreon member. You guys can become a Patreon member too at patreon.com/the Social Studies Podcast. Get your tickets to see me live at thejoedombrowski.com. And as always, leave a 5-star review and a nice message on Apple Podcast or Spotify. We love seeing that.
Come see me live at GaspareRandazzo.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Head over to Patreon if you want to hear the rest of Joe's bridal shower questions.
Bye.